and Enviik. So two teams sort of having a bit of a struggle at the moment in the league, but yeah, good sort of bottom of the table scrap.
Yeah, I mean, I'm looking forward to this one. I think we've got two exciting maps coming up ahead. I believe it's going to be Coastline and Theme Park, two maps that I haven't seen before on ESA all that much. I believe I've seen Coastline once or twice, but I haven't seen Theme Park yet. So I'm excited to see what these teams are going to be bringing out for this. It's been a while, but Theme Park can be such an exciting map, especially with how complex it can be. All right, so I think that's going to be quite fun. Do you have any brief predictions before we dive deep into this map? Do you have any predictions for Coastline?
Well, Coastline so far, both these teams they've taken various teams here over the course of the league so far, and
Hmm.
neither of them have netted any positive results. They've got two losses from Enviik on Coast and three losses for Timber on Coast. So
Yeah,
it's potentially a bit of a weak map for both of them, and we're going to see like I really cannot predict how it's going to go basically. And then Theme Park is equally as unpredictable, I suppose, but for the exact opposite reason that there's
yeah.
no intel on it. You know, we haven't seen either of these two teams go there before either, and like you said, it's been relatively underplayed in the ACS so far.
Hmm. So, I mean, I'm definitely going to be looking towards which team will be the more aggressive of the two going into Coastline. I think that'll definitely be the key into this is whether either team can kind of gain a manpower advantage early on into the rounds, and if they're able to kind of capitalize on that momentum and kind of sweep through the map. I think that's really the way to go for a map like Coastline.
Yeah, that's often the case with Coastline. You see, especially on the defenses, you need to gain some kind of early edge to
Yeah.
be able to hold off. And that often results in defenders taking very brazen spawn peaks and run outs in the early round. And it means that, for instance, Valkyrie is quite a popular operator on
Yeah.
that map, and she rarely actually gets banned as well. So yeah, I'll be always trying to keep an eye on any defenders that are starting off the round with a bang. But um, we're almost ready to go in. And it looks like, yep, we are just about starting now. So we're going to be heading into Coastline for the first and only match of the day. First map, Timber and Enviik are your teams. Let's get started with the ban phase.
Excited for this one. And as you mentioned, let's talk about Valkyrie briefly. Such a powerful operator for the defenders, it makes a lot of sense to try and ban her out. Intel operators can be the crucial difference for a lot of teams in having that information as to how a team is playing. Habana is going to be the first ban by Timber Esports and Hard Breach off the board. You don't often see Hard Breach bans on Coastline, but when you do, a lot of the time it will be the Habana. I would imagine we're probably going to be seeing more of utility ban coming out here. And yeah, okay.
Yeah.
It's going to be the buck off the board again. Soft breach, quite powerful. Some utility, doesn't have frag grenades anymore, which is a bit of a shame. How do you feel about these defender bans though?
Well, the defender bans are usually slightly more predictable on this map, but again, Coastline does tend to throw up the odd enigma. But it looks like right now Maestro and that second ban's going to be Mirror, so fairly standard for the defensive side of things. But definitely the key ban standing out in that phase is the Buck. And on a map like Coastline, where so much of the floor and ceiling is destructible, that Buck is actually a really key component of a good attack, even without the frag grenades.
Yeah, I mean, soft breach is very important, and having that verticality above an objective can be also powerful. But let's not also forget that butt can be used below as well, being able to be used inside of, say, for example, blue bar to push up into aqua and the bomb site on billiards. It can be very powerful. So I'm not surprised to see that one banned out. A lot of teams also rely on having um, soft breach operators like the Buck, like the Sledge. So that could throw off a player like Zandini, who may potentially be more comfortable on an operator like Sledge. We're not going to be seeing Tachanka being brought out by Valbar. No, instead that's going to be the Mute. Again, a powerful operator, and as so far, I am a big fan of these operator
Attackers
picks.
need to
Valkyrie,
locate and defuse
as
as
we
many bombs
mentioned,
as they can.
very powerful. Then that would be the pick. In favor of the Mute. Disruption work could be quite strong, could be quite powerful, but I'm inclined to say that I would rather see the Valkyrie, despite the fact that Hoshi is playing I2, which would be a hard counter.
Yes, the Valkyrie does, like we say, enable that sort of early aggression from Timber, but it seems as though they've gone with a much more turtly setup. That being said, they have extended outwards in the site, and they've got a couple of rotations open that you wouldn't necessarily always see. For instance, this one just inside of lobby, where you're likely to see a shield get plopped down by Brainless at some point to help cover that kitchen, hallway, and lobby area. And yeah, I'm quite interested by this setup. I think it's something I think we've seen it before from Timber. But there's potential in this. But at the moment, we're going to be watching as Sugi will be taking that diffuser and trying to open up the lobby, and that's a very key part of any attack onto the kitchen. You want to stop that rotation being easily made by the defenders. That being said, most of the pressure coming right now from Office.
Yeah, Carl already aware there's going to be pressure coming in. He spots it to drone. Is he going to be able to land the first shot? No, he's not, and that's going to be the entry kill for Enviik. As Hoshi takes him down. Rapid, expedient entry. Could have been a second one, but they missed their shot. He takes an exile as well. And again, this is a rapid entry by Timber, and so far, sorry, correction, by Enviik, and so far,
bomb located by attackers.
Sandini the sledge off the board. He's going to be able to capitalize a little bit, but it looks like Hoshi
Attackers dropped.
Teammate.
Attackers have recovered their
last kill onto Iska. He's really kind of feeling the pressure, getting pushed on all sides. He's holding on to Office, but he might not be able to do it.
That's Hoshi with the 4K on the round. Impressive stuff by the IQ. Absolutely slicing through that defense there. Finding the opening, walking to site, picking up a nice 2-piece, and then sealing the round out. That's a very one-sided affair to start things off. And Enviik, who are currently in the season without a win on a single map, besides the forfeit wins that he got from Regnant leaving, are starting off with much more vigor than we've seen them before.
Yeah, I mean, vigor really is the word of the day here, as 1-0 in favor of Enviik. Starting on attack coastline could be expected, as we're going to be seeing this expect from the Legion to a Vigil. We're also going to be seeing a rotate up to Hooker and Billiards as the bomb side. Now, as I've just mentioned there, it is, you know, 1-0 starting on attack. So, to be fair, it's not a massive surprise. I'm going to be looking more towards whether
attackers need to locate and defuse as many bombs as they can.
On the aggression that they've built up in that last round. We saw there, Hoshi, 4 kills is quite a substantial lead in terms of kills. But if he goes down early on this one, that could slow down.
Attackers have discovered the location of a bomb.
It could be, and you always look to your key fraggers to help you lift you through those rounds. But I do also want to highlight the fact that Sugi did pick up a pretty high impact frag, despite it being the only one that Hoshi didn't get. It was that nice rotate being cut off from lobby, and as soon as he got that kill, Hoshi was completely free to move on in across lobby. That reinforced or barricaded door into the courtyard, making it even easier for him to just sneak on through that rotate and completely dissect it. So props to Sugi as well for creating that opening. But right now we see Carl Roger in that very same location that Sugi managed to shut down last round. Be a bit more cautious this time than his team were before. Fall back into security room, and again a lot of pressure coming through Office. This is a pretty key entry point for the attack of Enviik, it seems.
Yeah, I mean, having those doorways kind of pile through, it just makes it so much easier for the edge. I got the kind of entry into the building. A couple of shots being fired off by Carl.
A bomb
don't really do too much damage. Take a fairly low, but not enough, unfortunately, for Carl. He's going to try and rotate out away from him.
Mr. Easter's managed to push his way all the way into kitchen as well, and now most of this bottom floor are taken over by Enviik, but the odd Timber defender scattered here or there. We see Carl Roger just outside of kitchen, and Iska right here holding angle into kitchen, but Zandini's going to be opening the scoring for this round and taking down Valba early on. That's a Goyo gone, so not too big a loss in terms of utility removed, but still a gun off the board. And now Carl Roger and Iska trying to hold on to this position near Cool Vibes, and Slowly the vultures are circling for them, but with a minute 35 left on the round, they've done a pretty good job at stalling out this attack so far.
Yeah, much more deliberate push being brought out by Enviik, and arguably is still working out as they are able to slowly collapse onto some of these defenders. My main concern will be the two out. Easter gets a kill onto Surveyor, so far it's looking pretty well for them. 1 minute 10 left on clock, give or take, and they've still got bottom floor control. It's Carl actually upstairs. Oh, she takes an Easter. Unfortunate.
Yeah, so that frag beginning to open things up now. So we've got 3 defenders left trying to hold these common anchor positions. Exile's in a very strong position, but he's already spent 2 of those gas canisters. With 51 seconds left, that will allow the default plant to come down potentially by the billiards table. Here we see Ash just pushing up, but she catches him. Oh wow, she actually wins that fight against Carl Roger. Zandini claims the kill with the Goyo shield against Exile, and that's it. Mr. Easter with a nice little 2-piece at the end there, sealing off that round, and score now 2-0 to Enviik.
Yeah, I mean, a fundamentally different attack being brought out by Enviik. Instead of essentially relying on the gunpowder of a single player to collapse onto the bomb site and split it in half, instead they decide to bull constrict the bomb site and basically hold onto the lines of sight and wait for the defenders to essentially push into their line of fire and engage them and take them down. And it worked out very well for them. Is so far Hoshi yet to die yet, and so is Mr. Easter. That is definitely something I'm going to be looking towards here. As some of your entry frags, especially with the Ash, the fact that Mr. Easter hasn't died yet, it's quite impressive as an entry frag.
Attackers need to
It really
locate
is,
and
and
defuse
the way
bombs.
Hoshi's playing as well on that IQ, very much the same kind of entry role, sort of split between the two. And yeah, if you're not dying on your entries, then you're going to win games, because you expect them to die and sort of trade out perhaps, maybe advantageously. But yeah, if they're not dying, then that's a good sign, and it's definitely showing the fact that on Timber so far across 2 rounds only have 3 kills between their entire squad. So we need to wait for the Timber Guns to wake up, I think. Especially on the defense, they can be playing a little bit more aggressively. This is a
10
pretty
seconds left before
restrictive map. You mentioned the sort of constriction that
5
Enviik
seconds
are
to insertion.
bringing, and that's mostly because Timber are playing very passive.
Attackers
But
are moving
that
out
might
to
be about
locate
to
a bomb
change.
and defuse it.
Valber's prepping himself here for this run out early on. This is a fairly common one, the Doc just sneaking along the bottom of your screen there. And he is going to light up and down Serpega there with that peak, so a good attempt, but not finishing off the job, and that means that the Thatcher's going to survive to fight another day, and of course bring those all-important EMPs. But no, Brainless, in fact, going to double down on that with the run out from Hookah Balcony, taking down Hoshi as well. A massive pick onto the top fragger so far. And the IQ, who's the hard counter to the Valkyrie. So much gained by that run out.
Yeah, I'm not quite sure whether that is a good night, but you know, an attempt was made there, Valber. Yeah, very unfortunate that the IQ was lost, considering that both Echo and Valkyrie are both in play. That is a substantial advantage gained by Timber Esports, as they are a lot less worried. Never mind, Easter takes an Easter. A lot less worried now about losing their Yokai and their plant denial.
This is what we like to see from Timber right now. They've finally woken up a bit, and now they've completely turned the table. This round looks pretty much dead, buried for Enviik, but nice little flick to the head there from Sugi. He's going to keep them alive for the time being. 2 versus 4 now, with the Sledge and the Nomad still lurking around downstairs, trying to find these remaining roamers. And we've got Carl Roger sitting here in courtyard, and he knows where Zandini is at this point in time, but backed into the office, he might be safe. Carl Roger now just holding this angle, but he decides to back away a little bit more. It's a game of cat and mouse right here, as now the Sledge is crossing over and peeks perfectly onto Carl Roger. So now a 3 versus 2, and Enviik are slowly pulling themselves back into this.
Yeah, I mean, small victories here and there might net Enviik a little bit more success, but so far time is taken away, and they need to try and make some magic happen. So far, they might need to pull out a Gandalf, because so far it's just not really working out just yet.
Yeah, and at the moment, luck isn't on their side either. That timing for Exile to leave that anchor spot and move into bar just avoiding the frag grenade,
have
but at
located a
least
bomb.
Sandini finally gets the better of him. So 2 versus 2, down from 2 versus 5. Good luck to Brainless and Valba, but they do have that yokai drones in action to try and delay this plant. Sugi, though, sticking an air jab on the rotate, going to make it a little bit easier for him as he decides to plant and sticking behind that bomb chassis, and it doesn't look like it's going to be denied yet. Just at the last second, though, that yokai drone, and that's perfect timing from the Echo. And Brainless finds one, finds a second. Excellent Echo play in that final minute or so. Locking out the clutch attempt there from Enviik. That was so good.
A perfect example of why you need that IQ. As if people aren't even aware enough as it is, in case people don't play ranked, in case you never watched the BDS game on Border against the Sutton NA team, where they had an Echo. Yokai drones are so powerful, being able to disrupt and deny that plant, it essentially forced the attackers into a no-win situation. You've got the sledge trying to cover, but there's so many angles to try and hold, whether it's the rotate or the sofas. There's very limited options available for him. All he can do is really stick to plant, and when that's been disrupted, yep, it's just not really going to happen. We're going to be seeing a 6-pick from the Blackbeard over to a Jackal, as Serpega yet to really find the scoreboard. We know he's a very competent and proficient player, so definitely could try and make an impact in this game even. And Jerry, I've just realized something.
Attackers have located a bomb.
I don't know why. Maybe this is just like, you know, my intuition here. Whenever I think of Mr. Easter, I'm just thinking of, you know, the April Fool's Mr. Bear.
I'm afraid I don't.
From the Rainbow is Magic. The Rainbow is Magic, Mr. Bear.
Yeah,
Mr. Bear. You know.
I can see
Mr.
that. Yeah.
Easter, Mr. Bear. I can just imagine, like, Mr. Easter, you know, sitting at home right now. Obviously, we're all on the lockdown. He can't leave home. You know, he's stay at home, social distancing. It's cool, kids. He's just sitting at home, but you know, he's got his tub of G Fuel next to him. He's got, you know, like his Turtle Beach headset, playing with his Final Mouse, you know, Corsair keyboard, the whole thing. But he's also wearing a big, fluffy suit. I don't know why. It's just like a giant Easter bunny suit.
Perhaps you should pitch this to some of those brands and those
You
companies.
see, I've tried that, but they just block me. I don't know why. Anyway.
I mean, that's just rude, really.
Yeah. It's... Anyway. Easter also being a little bit rude here, not allowing Zandini an entry into the building just yet, as he fires a couple of shots off towards him. Shots fired, so to speak. Yeah, I think they're going. So Baker not going to be opening up into the blue bar as Exile killed off early on. Smoke off the board, plant's now gone. What are you doing, Exile?
Yeah, that's a very advanced position for the smoke to be playing, and especially on a kitchen hole, you really want those cannons at the last minute to try and deny that push in from delivery. But Carl Roger at least is going to shut down our favourite new mascot. And 4 versus 4 now, but Serpega's going to light up Easter and take him down as well. That's the Jackal finally making an impact on the round. This switch up working out fairly well, it would seem, and he's going to get these scans as well onto the anchors. That can be really oppressive on a map like this. Now, Brainless cannot sit comfortably at all, especially for fear of potential pressure from above. At the moment, it's just Valva and Brainless on the site. Not quite sure where Carl Roger is at the moment. No, he's in security, but Zandini taking out Valva means that these two defenders are left split up, and they have to fight back against the 4 attackers. We're going to see one go down. That's a double kill for Carl Roger on the round, but Serpega reacts quickly to refrag, all up to Brainless, and he doesn't have time on his side this time around. He's got 3 to find, lots of angles to worry about, and he's going to be shut down by Serpega. An excellent round for the Jackal, picking up, I believe, a 3k there. And this switch up absolutely doing its job for Enviik.
Yeah, exactly as we said there, we know that Serpega is capable of some great gameplay, and we know that he is a very capable player, and it seems that that switch up over to the Jackal is working out very nicely for him. A couple of things I would like to highlight about that round. That was the second time that we went to kitchen, and the second time that the attackers disregarded the top floor in terms of verticality, using operators like the Sledge with Zandini, Zofia, IQ, etc. Not really using, you know, any breaching charges or any soft breach above the objective to disperse the defenders or destroy utility on the bomb side. Obviously, it's on purpose. They are going entirely for lateral takes, which is admirable, but I would
Attackers
question
need to locate
whether
and
or
defuse
not
bombs.
part of verticality
Bomb
would
located by
benefit them
attackers.
slightly. Even the perceived pressure of having an operator like Nandini Sledge above the objective, maybe that might help just a little bit. Obviously, it's not something that they're planning for or stressing for. It's fairly apparent, with the way that they're playing. They're trying to, basically take from the southwest and clear. And it's fine, it works out. But I'm just wondering whether there's a better way of doing it.
Yeah, what they're doing is the same thing over and
10
over
seconds
again,
remaining.
and at the moment it's working. But that's exactly the point. It's working for the moment, and
5
you've
seconds
got to
left
wonder
before
whether
insertion.
this predictability. We saw it from the previous
Attackers'
round on the
objective is
hookah
to
hold
defuse a bomb.
that they were just caught out because Timber knew that they'd mostly be spawning and pressuring into offices, and that was an easy run out to try and pick off one or two Enviik players that you know are going to be coming from there. And that's why the mix-up was important last time around, with that main entrance, a lot of main entrance spawning and the Jackal coming in. And this time around as well, we've got a bit of variation in the spawns at least. And it looks like Enviik are finally going to be actually applying some pressure above this bar take.
So I do just want to highlight, there is nothing wrong with playing the same strats over and over again. It shows that you're confident with them. And being regimented in the strat that you do is good. But at the same time, you do need to maintain that
Attackers have dropped the bomb diffuser.
kind of variation to make
Attackers
sure
recovered
that
the
you're not falling into the same consistency. What was that, Easter? What are you doing, Mr. Easter Bunny? What was that? Echo, God, brainless, living
bomb
up
has
to
been
his
located.
name as the Echo is just gone. AWOL, MIA, presumed KIA at this point. As he's just gone, Barber able to pick up a refrag in the form of Zandini. I can't get over that.
That was a drop shot headshot.
That's
I'm
brutal.
pretty sure it was like hip fire as well for the most part. That's insane. So yeah, Mysteries are a little bit lucky there as well though, but Valber immediately returning to this position and swiping down our Easter Bunny on the staircase, and now we've got just the three attackers surviving. Only Sapega with self-destruction in hand, and he's gonna go down to Iska. So now this is gonna have to be an entirely lateral take now from Sugi and Hoshi. Envik's hands have been forced here.
Yeah, I mean, definitely not the kind of round that they're looking for, but Hoshi's able to kind of bring it back ever so slightly, taking down the Jaeger. He's one of the more powerful players on Timber Esports. Is that going to make a difference? I don't really know, but here's hoping. Let's just be, nice and optimistic and, positive, because that's what we all love here. Hoshi barely missing one of the defenders. I don't believe he was the
Attackers
yet.
bomb diffuser
That
has
coming
been
out
dropped.
by the Nomad, it doesn't work out, and Barber's able to take him down. It's all going to be up to Hoshi. Is he going to be able to make this work? Squad though, why now?
3 fires around the corner. A couple of suppressing fire moments there, but the Wamai is smarter than to peek that right now. He knows he's got 30 seconds to play with, and in a 1 versus 3, do not want to be giving yourself up very easily. And now Hoshi just has to face check through kitchen. He has no idea whether there's anyone here.
15
But
seconds
oh
remaining.
wow, okay, the spray through the wall perfectly timed by Carl Roger, landing the headshot onto the IQ. There might have been some intel in there. You've got to imagine so, as he perfectly timed that, and that's a swish way to end out the round.
Carl Rogers, more like Carl Sagan after that mathematically impossible shot. I don't know how he landed that, but here we are. Can we just highlight Mr. Easter? Wow. Alright, people are scared of, like, Santa Claus. Right, well, the people aren't scared of Santa Claus. Like, people, okay. Out of all of, like, the people that you'd be scared of, like Santa Claus, the Easter Bunny, the Tooth Fairy. Yeah, it's definitely the Easter Bunny now after that round.
There's something that raises a lot of questions, a lot of personal questions. Why are they the one why not the boogeyman? The, the monster under the bed.
Attackers need to locate and defuse as many bombs
I don't know.
as they can.
The Yeti. All of these, like, monsters, you're
Yetis
scared
aren't
of, like,
Attackers have located a
Yetis-
bomb.
you're scared of
Yetis are
things
not
that bring
scary.
you presents and happy things.
Not in Sweden. Not in Scandinavian culture. Santa Claus is a bad man. I think.
No?
I don't know. I heard it on a
But
podcast one time.
He lives there, doesn't he? He lives in Lapland.
I don't know. I just thought that was like a Ponzi scheme, like a pon. I thought it was a Ponzi scheme by Thomas Cook.
Wow.
10 seconds to go.
What?
I've heard some conspiracy theories in my time, but that's
5 seconds to insertion.
a real humdinger right there.
So
Anyway.
let's get back on topic
Attackers are
here.
heading out
Mozzie
to
being
the
brought out
east.
by Exiles for the first time in 5 rounds. The last 5 rounds that Mozzie has been brought out. That's going to be quite interesting. Whether or not Exile's going to be able to use that effectively, we've seen how he plays with the smoke. Which didn't really kind of work for him. Like, let's be honest, your primary plant denial operator besides Brainless on Echo, you don't
Bomb
really
located
want
by
him
attackers.
roaming off of side. You do see it sometimes, but it's not recommended.
I'm surprised to not see the Mozzie playing around this security area, but clearly Enviik have been showing that they know how to clear this effectively, especially with Hoshi and Mr. Easter at the fronts. They just know those angles so well, and the C4 is going to come round, and that's the little bait switch coming from the Mozzie, but it almost pays off. He does escape with just a fraction of HP there. A little bit early on the C4, if you ask me. Probably could have timed that a little bit later and baited Enviik into turning their backs for a moment, but nothing really gained there. Iska taking a big, hefty chunk of damage from that frag grenade rolled in by Zandini as well on the other side of the map.
Get a kill to call Roger, and again, that's the entry that Enviik might have needed there.
Drone's ready.
Getting buzzed out a little bit by the Echo, that's not too good. As Hoshi's going to pick up the cross, is he going to be able to land any more kills there? Yes, he will. That's a resounding double. As he so far has a triple kill throughout this game. Sugi's getting the plant down. All Hoshi needs to do is just cover the doorway.
Attackers
Easter
are
and Exile
activating the
find
diffuser.
one apiece though, so down to a 3 versus 2 in the post plant, but this is going to be really difficult after Hoshi's just torn his way through the plant again, and the defenders off-site trying to retake Iska, taking from Kitchen, but the Mozzie swept aside by Mr. Easter, and Hoshi finishing off the Jaeger means that a sweet 4-piece again for the IQ. This is deja vu.
Oh, look at that glacier skin. It's beautiful.
It is a pretty one.
It is, honestly, like, holy moly. Hoshi's the first player to reach 10 kills. Double digits. Looking pretty good for Hoshi, as he's only died twice.
He's
And
only
I
taken
think-
them 6 rounds as well. That's so impressive. I mean, kill record anyway. I think it was 22 or something. Is that correct? We've got, you know, he could be potentially pushing for that, but he's going to have to be even more effective on the Jaeger than he has been on the IQ. But I wouldn't put that past him in terms of capabilities.
So we are going to be swapping over roles as Hoshi now going to be
Defenders, protect your bombs
playing
from
with
being
that
defused by attackers.
416C for the Jaeger, which could be just as powerful as the IQ's LMG. We've seen what he was capable of with IQ. Let's see what he can do
Bomb
with
located by
the
attackers.
other German guy. Yeah, I don't really know where I'm going with that one. But anyway, also, Serpega going to be bringing out Valkyrie. I'm interested in this. Again, I always feel like intel is key for a map like Coastline, and for a game like Siege. Having two, you know, kind of sets of intel operators with the Valkyrie
10
black eye
seconds
cams,
left.
and also with the cardiac scanner for Mr. Easter, the Easter Bunny.
5 seconds
It's
remaining.
going to be a question of whether or not Mr. Easter's going to be leaving any surprises
Attacker's objective is to defuse a bomb.
with those C4s. It's kind of like, you know with the Easter Bunny, how you've got like the, like the Easter egg hunts, and like you look for the Easter eggs.
Yeah, I can see where you were going.
Instead of having like, Cadbury or Kinder, you're actually just getting C4. Plastic explosive.
Yeah, I think that you made a comment last week. It's kind of like hide and seek, but if you lose, you die.
Yeah, exactly. That sounds fun and terrifying at the same time.
Yeah, exactly.
So
I think I like the
Oh.
duo as well of Pulse and Valkyrie, but I'm gonna cut myself short there as Hoshi opens up the scoring already with Iska going off the board, and that's one of Timber's high impact players so far being dealt with, and Hoshi picking up where he left off in this second half. The 3-speed German's definitely his thing. But like I said, this sort of dual intel gathering of the Valkyrie, if you want the kind of range intel gathering of Valkyrie and the close range intel gathering of the Pulse, is going to allow Serpega to be able to exert so much dominance over this pink area, the pink bar, sunrise bar. Sorry, the words elude me there, but so yeah, already a 3 versus 5 now, and so much control in the hands of the defenders. They're completely
Defender is
boxed in the attack before they've even tried to get where they want to. But Easter whiffing a load of shots there.
What are you doing?
Oh no! Brainless left on about 10 HP, if that, and that's given them some hope in this round. It really shouldn't have been the case, but now possible comeback in the works here on the round for Timber.
Yeah, I mean, definitely looking at it now, it was very aggressive by the Easter Bunny, and it just didn't work out, which 3v4 situation is still doable for Timber Esports. They're attacking first. This is the first time that they've attacked and posted today, so they should be feeling a little bit more confident than this, but considering they've lost multiple rounds in a row to Enviik, yeah, you can tell that they're just not really feeling
Attackers
the
have
momentum
located a
just
bomb.
yet. Carl Roger holding on to Lobby with a long angle, hoping to try and pick up a kill or two. Unfortunately, Mr. Hoshi is going around. It's just not going to work out for him.
No, Enviik sitting tight for the time being with 40 seconds left. That first gas canister choking out Valber a little bit. It's a little bit overcompensated in terms of that aim in the arc there, but Sapega going for that same run out onto Brainless. Finally finds the gridlock, and that's unfortunate. The second toxic gas canister coming out as well from Sugi. And again, kind of missing the door, but the third one finally lands on its mark, and he swipes aside Valber with that SMG-11. Oh, sorry, that's Zandini on the mute, and now Carl Roger downed and finished off by Sapega. A great round for the Valkyrie, especially there. And Enviik are looking like they're on their way to picking up their first map of the season.
Well, if they keep up this aggression and energy levels, it's definitely doable. Provided that the Easter Bunny doesn't go for any reckless jump outs through the window or through any doorways, it could definitely work out for them. Have you ever watched Battlestar Galactica?
No, okay.
Okay, so there's
I
a
need
guy
to watch. Go on.
Sorry. There's a guy called Mr. Hoshi.
Yes.
Alright. And he just looks like such an ordinary guy, right? He's just got like that ordinary man face. That's kind of what I imagine Mr. Hoshi looks like. I don't know
kind
why.
Of default Sims character.
Yeah, just like kind of, you know, old, like mid-30s, you know, like he's got like, you know, like... Anyway, we're getting sidetracked here. Let's talk about this for a minute. 11 kills for Hoshi, 5 kills for Mr. Easter. Mr. Easter Bunny needs to pull it back, but so far, I've been fairly impressed by how Timber Esports have played. One thing I do need to highlight is that they are still going at this round and at this game with a lot of energy and a lot of passion, and you can tell that they want to win. They've got that drive, which is very admirable. Unfortunately, it's not working out too well for them, as Exile only 1 kill, 6 deaths. Definitely need to try and pull us back somehow. They are attacking on coastline, and the fact that they're losing like
10
this,
seconds remaining.
I'm wondering whether it's more an issue with Timber Esports or something that Enviik are doing right. And I'm kind of inclined to say that the reason why Enviik are winning, I'll give you a hint. It starts with H and ends in Oshi. It's Hoshi.
Ah, damn it! I was just about to guess that. Well, yeah, he's definitely putting up the numbers right now, and if you look at his kind of opposite number in Exile, who's on that IQ for the half, you did mention 1 kill so far, and Sapega's going to be opening it up already. Only 20 seconds into the round, and he finds that C4 onto the Ash, sailing out the window and catching the repelling American there. Nice job by the Valkyrie, and their pain might not be over just yet, as Mr. Reese is getting in position to try and deliver a nasty surprise to Carl Roger above him, but that Zoffy is keeping moving, and he's going to find the head of Zandini for himself. And Mr. Reese is a bit locked in place here, as that doorway into lobby may well have been opened there or caught. Oh, nice shot from Hoshi. That's an incredible headshot onto Exile. Once again, the Jaeger coming up trumps, and he's just carrying the team right now. But at least Carl Rogers doing his darndest on the other side of things for Timber.
Yeah, I mean, having players like Carl Roger being able to kind of consistently get these kills is powerful. And having players, you need to be able to read each other. And, you know, work together with the synergy and the passion and the energy, regardless of whether you're winning or you're losing. And that's so far what Timber Esports are trying to do. You can tell that they're comfortable with each other, and you can tell that they're watching each other's backs, which is something that a lot of teams do struggle with. The chemistry of a team is very important. So far, Timber Esports, I'm impressed by them.
I am too, and Enviik have just shown up today. That's the main difference right here. It's our favorite Easter Bunny with another kill on the round, and that's Carl Roger shut down. So your main threat so far in the Zofia gone, and Mr. Easter still downstairs with a C4 in hand. That's going to be a big factor with the remaining 50 seconds to come, and especially beneath the completely destructible floor of the Aqua, and he finds the double! There we go, Valber and Brainless sailing into the sky. Mr. Easter with that Easter egg right underneath. Enviik now on 6-2. That's match point.
That was madly terrifying. Yeah, no, so far I would like to highlight the the attack strategy that's been brought out by Timber Esports. You can tell that they are working quite well together. I'm curious to know, how they would play on other maps besides Coastline. I really want to see them play on Theme Park. I think that's going to be the fun one here, especially when it comes down to the roam clearances. We know that teams that work well together with the chemistry and the synergy, that a lot of the time their roam clearance can be superb. Another 6 pick to Pulse. Actually, it's going to be to the Mozzie this time, Mr. Easter. Really living up to the C4 operators. He's been a big fan of them so far, and it's not
Defenders,
hard to
protect
see
your
why.
bombs from being defused by attackers.
Double kill at the end is once in a few weeks kind of occurrence, and he's gonna be savouring that one, especially since it has pushed them onto match point. And I like that you mentioned that the theme park and the potential for roam clears on that, because it does seem that that was one of the biggest strengths of Enviik's attack, and that's really what set them going for this potential win as they look to lock it out. But theme park can definitely be a bit more of a challenge. Obviously, it's almost twice the size, I'd like to say, in terms of like floor space
Yeah,
of
in
Coastline.
terms of just pure the map
5
that you
seconds
need
to
to
go.
clear is a lot more, because with especially with maps like Coastline,
Attackers
a
must
lot of time you
locate and
can't
defuse
ignore
a bomb.
half the map, because you know that the roamers aren't going to have any reason to go up there. They get zero benefit out of it. On the other hand, with Theme Park, there's so many smaller rooms and connecting rooms and hallways that you need to clear out, because all of them can be a potential death trap. And that is, I think, something that would benefit Timber Esports a little bit more than Enviik, because so far, Enviik so far just look like they are comfortable anywhere, everywhere, anytime, anywhere, any place.
Drone is active.
Comfortable is absolutely the word right here. As Hoshi's just minding his own business here, peeking very casually, just going to take down Easter for the first one for the time being, and he hears the repel, but is immediately shut down from the right by Brainless, as Easter's still able to be rezzed here, and that's a net gain for Timber right there. So not looking as hot right here for Enviik, and a lot of delivery pressure and lobby pressure from Timber right now, but we don't see anything vertically just yet, as Sapega has free reign up there as the Valkyrie.
He's able to get a kill onto the Easter Bunny. That's very unfortunate for Mozzie. And this could be a round for Timber Esports. If they're able to just capitalize on this and just hold on and maintain that advantage, it's definitely going to put a lot more pressure onto the defenders.
It most certainly is, and the way that the team...
What are you doing?
Attackers have located a bomb.
What's he doing up there? Just casually meandering his way upstairs to put a mute jammer down in the middle of the hallway. It's like half your team is dead. What are you doing?
Late round mute jammers are quite fun, you know where the teams are going to be coming from, and you can lock them off. But yeah, definitely a risky one there. The way that Enviik was set up there, I actually completely misread the situation. I thought we were looking at a kitchen hold. It's not. In fact, we've got ourselves a bar hold, and all of that pressure on lobby and kitchen definitely worth doing, but it does leave Timber with tighter schedule than they may have wanted, especially with Timber still holding all of those gas canisters and Sapega finding the head of Brainless already. That's your only set of smokes and some good execute utility off the board. So Timber Esports looking like they might be in a position to clutch this one out with 35 seconds left.
Carl Roger still alive and able to do some work as Exile shuts down Serpega. It's all up to Sugi and Dini, but it's all up to Sugi now. No gas canisters going out, but it's not going to work out as Timber Esports pick up round number 9. Brilliant performance by Exile. This is what happens when you wake up and you've had your G Fuel with your Weetabix on top of your Frosties, with some Cheerios spread on top. Brilliant performance by the IQ. Really well played, and we're going to be going again to another round on Coastline. 6-3, still in favour of Enviik, but Timber Esports can pull it back. We know what they're capable of, and they are making it happen. Jerry, I am so excited about this.
I'm still grimacing at that disgusting meal that you described in the heat of the moment there. But you know what else is disgusting is apparently IQ pushing through kitchen. No matter what side it's been on, we've seen 3 and 4Ks. Exile finally waking up in the match and stringing some kills together to put Timber back in the race for what can only be a draw for them so far, because obviously we're on to match point right now for Enviik, and they still have another 3 chances to lock this one out and find their first map of the season.
Defused by attackers.
Well, I mean, at the end of the day, I think it's just important to remember that, you know, everyone's playing, we're all human, we're all, you know, all of the casters, the observers, the producers, the players, we're all human. And I hope that people are enjoying this game, because so far it has been an absolute spectacle. I really hope that people are putting support not only to Timber Esports, but also to Enviik, all of the players in chat. It's important. We are all members of one big community. Now, one big Siege family. And whether or not we dislike each other every now and then, I think it's important that we just recognize, hey, we're having a brilliant game so far. It's a pleasure to be here with you, Jerry.
5 seconds
I'm
left
grateful
before
for this
insertion.
opportunity. I hope people are enjoying this game.
Wholesome
Attackers
moments
are moving
with
to
Fraser.
the
I'm
bomb.
absolutely
Attackers have dropped the
enjoying
bomb
this as well
diffuser.
too
Attackers
right
will
now,
cover the
Fraser.
bomb
This is
diffuser.
yeah, definitely it's one of the highlights of my week, quite honestly, doing this, and I do enjoy seeing everyone in chat and so many people coming to watch these games and of course participating in them. So yeah, let's get back to killing and murdering.
I love that. I love that. I miss you, Jerry. You know
I
what?
miss you too. Why are we in lockdown?
Why are we in lockdown? You wanna hug me?
Anyway, killing and murdering. So,
Killing and murdering. And so far, Enviik definitely taking point on that one. Is a slower round, but definitely a lot more of a deliberate round by Timber Esports, deciding they don't want to drone it out and try and figure out what they want to do here. They know somebody was behind the lobby reception desk, and they're still there. That's gonna be Mr. Easter. As Brainless picks up the first kill onto Sir Hager, and that could be the momentum that they need. If Valber is able to pick up another kill here, that's going to put them in a massive manpower advantage moving forward.
Enviik will absolutely be kicking themselves if they don't seal this map out, and this is one of those kind of turning points that you can look back on if it does go to a draw and say, maybe this is where that belief left them. But Easter as well, finding Mr. Easter is going to compound that. So 3 versus 5 now, and Timber actually have this top floor control almost with just a visual trying to hold out and get a couple of picks here and there, but he's floundering, and there goes Carl Roger finally striking onto Hoshi, and he's not had as good a time on the defense as he had on the attacking path. And right now we might be seeing a very defender or attacker-sided coastline as you might expect, but it's just a shame considering Enviik looked so, you know, energized earlier on.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely think this is a kind of time where Timber Esports might be able to pull it back if they can just keep stringing along rounds like this. This could be it. Building up these single rounds is going to put them at an advantage. Think about the morale boost you'd be. Ah, Sugi. Ah, I don't like that.
Yeah, Easter was a little bit complacent there, just standing on top of that hole. That's a big no-no if you're an Ashe, and well, if you're anyone really on the attacking side. You know that this is probably one of the last bastions of defense right here that Sugi's holding as a smoke. First canister goes out, but it looks like it might have been shot out or perhaps even destroyed by the gridlock track. Not sure about that. Either way, Sugi pushing up though, but he doesn't react to the sledge quickly enough, and now Exile's been downed by Zandini, but the diffuser is going down for Brainless inside of the delivery entrance. Doubles holding this rotate all up to the mute. Try and clutch in the post plant in the 1 versus 2. He's coming here to from the kitchen, but the sweep round and an exact trade between Zandini and Valba is going to finish out the round. Timber slowly edging their way back into this one.
Look at how they perform that execute. Look how perfectly they set that up with the redundancies in place to cover that diffuser. They had the gridlock reverse repel on the doorway. They had the diffuser on the doorway itself rather than deeper inside the objective, which might have given Zandini a possibility to long arm it potentially. Sledge was prone, covering both the doorway and also the the rotate. The Dissolvier still alive, even though one of their player was downed. They were still capable of fully fighting that out. And that just goes to show the teamwork that is being displayed by Timber Esports. That is a clean round. Despite, yeah, a couple of mistakes here and there, especially by Isker, it has to be said. So far, I have been incredibly impressed by Timber Esports. They are pulling it back round by round, and I thoroughly believe that they have it in them to push us to overtime.
Except that we don't do overtime, of course.
Except we don't do overtime, but they could. The hypothetical. Alright, going back to the conversation, we have a hypothetical. Forget about black holes, forget about, parallel universes, forget about all that. Let's talk about theoretical overtime. Match point. Timber Esports, they could have done it. But we don't do that over here in ACS, we just go over to the next match. To be blunt, we're too lazy. But theme park! It's gonna be our next map. I'm looking forward to that one. Jerry, how are you feeling about theme park?
I'm feeling very excited about theme park, especially because we've seen it so little throughout the season. And yeah, it's especially young in the kind of meta development of the game. You know, a lot of the strategies are still being workshopped at the very highest level on that map. And there's even some, occasionally you see tier 3, tier 4 teams bringing out something really inventive. And I've seen some particularly interesting drug lab holds, for instance, that I really want to see kind of trickle their way up, in fact, if anything, where you open up a load of walls. But either way, we're going to be focusing back on this match, and I just want to give Gridlock a little bit of love. Remember when Gridlock came out and people were like, nah, she's useless.
Honestly,
like, she's such a useful operator.
Attackers have located a bomb.
Powerful operator, not only with the weapons that she has, the shotgun, the two great primary weapons, but simply being able to shut down rotates is perfect. 3-track stingers, that's all you need.
It really is powerful. I mean, it's such a simple gadget as well. When you look at like the design of Sledge, for instance, and that's persisted for so long, why not?
Oh, Exile! What are you doing? Why are you doing that?
That's very complacent from Timber right there, and they could have just given themselves a mountain to climb in this round. And with Mr. Easter still this presence underneath, and he's going to at least be traded out by Zandini getting very aggressive onto this doorway. Iska finding the mute, and the C4 not detonated, so going to be expelled there by Iska. And we've got 4 versus 4 now, at least for the attackers, but they still have the smoke canisters to worry about, and all of that live intel being fed from our favorite Easter Bunny. He's going to hate it if that nickname sticks, to be quite honest. I'm sure, but we're going to keep saying it. So
he is the Easter Bunny. Like,
he really is.
Just imagine that, like, like, I am Batman. But, like, God, that sounded like a Manchester. Anyways.
Imagine a Mancunian Batman.
No,
wow.
I'm scared.
I cannot wait for the next incarnation.
Oh.
That would be great. You know what the best Batman is? A Lego Batman. Honestly.
No, it's Christian Bale.
He's good.
He's
Lego Batman.
He's good.
Lego Batman from the Lego movies.
Lego Batman, sure, okay. Now, whilst we're discussing this, we're just watching the Ash have a back and forth between Hoshi. No one really wants to challenge it. Hoshi's gonna run away. He's gonna just run a lot of move. It's kind of like it's like a romance anime. Like, will they? Won't they? Who's gonna make the first move? It's gonna be Hoshi. He's gonna push away, but Carl Roger does not care. He doesn't like anime. He ain't a weeb. He's gonna kill him. Off. Match point remaining. 10 seconds remaining, give or take, as that's the Ash off the board. Mr. Easter with a double kill. He's got that C4. He can go for a plant denial if he so chooses, but the C4 is not even needed. As there's no way they're going to be able to make this work. As Valber drops down, drop shots.
Operators, you have run out of time.
It does not work out.
Absolutely chaotic end to the round there. And Mr. Easter coming up trumps right at the end. The C4 not really as impactful as he'd planned on it being, but basically the Sledge just out of position right at the end there. meaning that there was no chance of getting that diffuser down come the 000, and Hoshi rightfully picking up the MVP for that match. Mr. Easter came close, though, had an impressive defensive half for Enviik, almost as impressive as Hoshi's attacking on the IQ, but 12 frags to Hoshi's name. And we're going to be back with us now in our little mobile studio.
Welcome back. I missed you, Jerry. I wasn't able to see your face there. Hello there. I like that shot. It's
Hello.
great. It suits you.
Thank you
What
very much.
a brilliant round and a brilliant game overall by both teams. It was stunning to watch, and I love the back and forth between both teams. It's close by the Easter Bunny, almost able to get that MVP spot, but not quite. Props to Hoshi for that performance. I think he did incredibly well. I think he should be pretty happy with the results there. Do we
He
have
really
any
should.
do we have any expectations for this next match coming up in a few minutes? I believe we will have a quick break, but first I want to ask you first question. How are you feeling about this going into theme park? Are you excited about this?
I am excited, yes. And I think to sort of summing up, I'd say expect the unexpected for theme
Yeah.
park. That's basically it.
Yeah. I mean, I definitely think that, well, considering how aggressive Coastline was, I can't wait to see what both of these teams are going to be bringing out. And as an analyst, I do love seeing the roam clones. I think that it goes to show the teamwork, the coordination, the synergy, the chemistry between these players, and how they can work with the call-outs and communication coming from support players or droning. But also with the entry fraggers actually going in there and getting it done. I'm going to be looking over towards Carl Roger, also Mr. Easter, to see how they're going to play uh, in that kind of entry frag role. I think that's going to be quite interesting, and I'm sure it's going to be a fun one to watch. But I believe we are going to go for a quick 5-minute break. And yeah, I hope people are going to stay tuned. We'll look forward to this one. Theme Park coming up soon. Welcome back, Jerry. How's it going? Welcome back.
Hey, Fraser, it's good to be back here, and welcome back to all you wonderful viewers. Thank you for bearing with us with that slightly extended break. We're almost ready to get going into our second map of the day and our final map of the day, which is going to be. No, it's not going to be Coastline. It's
gonna
going to
be
be
theme
Theme
park.
Park. Yeah, between these two sides.
I'm very excited about this one. God, sorry, I'm very excited about this. Our theme park, it's an exciting map, and I think we've got a lot of opportunities for an upset here. We saw what both teams were capable of in that previous matchup. Enviik obviously pulling out on top there, and the individual gunplay that was kind of shown off by Enviik. Wow, it was incredible. Two of their players, I believe, got double kills in that one, both Hoshi and also Mr. Easter, I believe, getting 12 kills and 11 kills, I believe.
Yeah, double
But
digits broken by both of them.
on the other hand, Timber Esports, we saw what they were capable of. We saw what they were kind of showing for us, specifically looking over towards Carl Roger. I
Yeah,
like
Carl
seeing
Rogers
him.
he's been a standout player in
Yeah,
their whole tournament, in their whole league progress so far. And as a team, they're currently sitting in 7th place. So it's been a bit rough for them, especially on Coastline. That's now their 4th loss there. So they're probably not going to be looking to go back there anytime soon. But this is their map pick, Theme Park. So perhaps things will be slightly different here. And obviously, now that they're trying to sort of fight for that valuable 6th and upwards spot, they're 2 points behind Budapest 5 in 6 at the moment. Or Budapest 5 are in 6 and
yeah.
Timber are in 7th, I should say. Yeah, these matches are going to mean a lot to them. Just in case you're wondering about the format, we've got 9 weeks and we're currently in our 6th play week. And at the end of those 9 weeks of the regular league, we then go into our playoff finals, and that's going to involve the top 6 teams from the league, and the first 2 teams get get a bye in the first round. But that explained now, we're going to be starting the map, going on to Theme Park. I don't think I'm as excited as you are, Fraser. You seem to be incredibly excited about this one, but I am excited.
I gotta be honest, I was a lot more excited about Blank. I really enjoyed watching Blank being played out, but you know what? I will curb my enthusiasm for a minute as we're going to be starting off with a ban phase. Timber Esports going first with the Buck ban. Enviik.
Again.
Oh, Enviik actually going for the... Sorry, my bad. I took my glass off immediately. Going for the Buck ban again, it was just kind of a surprise. That's the second time in a row that they banned it out. Thatcher's going to be the second one going out by Timber Esports. Maverick is unbanned, potentially could be brought out. We know that Maverick is quite a powerful hard breach operator. I'm inclined to say we'll likely just see the Thermite being used in conjunction with, burning ADS and then fragging the walls, rather than relying on a Maverick. Echo is also going to be banned out by Timber Esports this time. Echo was unbanned in the last map, deciding, you know what, let's get rid of him. He was quite an influential operator in the Coastline game. Mira is also going to be banned out as well, which is kind of not really too much of a surprise. 3 of the most banned operators there on that lineup is going to be Thatcher, Echo, and Mira. On the bright side, Valkyrie's unbanned. Goyo's unbanned. I love Goyo. Do you like Goyo?
I'm a fan of Goyo, especially on Theme Park. You can get some very inventive setups with his shields, but I really want to talk a little bit about how Timber really didn't like Echo in that last match at all. Like you said, it was a very influential operator, especially when used against them by Enviik. We saw a couple of rounds go in favor of Enviik. That one was directly because of the Echo. I believe it was... I actually can't recall which player it was now on the lineup, but either way, it was an impressive double kill at the very end of a defensive round for Enviik, and it involved stunning the defuse planter. And then there were other rounds where that intel gathering was just as important. So clearly switching onto the Maestro, just a bit of a comforting thing for them to do, potentially.
Yeah, I mean, Echo Yokai are incredibly powerful, and they can be invaluable if you're able to get rid of that IQ. If she's either on the other side of the map, or if she's just dead, just straight up DED dead, she, can't really influence around, and that means that those Yokai drones are probably going to be safe to do that tank denial, which would definitely favour Enviik, as they're going to be defending first. And it looks like we've gone for an office and initiation room as our first bomb
10
site,
seconds remaining.
rather than the usual stereotypical, hey, let's go down to Aubrey, we'll bandit the
5
walls,
seconds to
and
go.
yeah, we'll just do whatever. And a lot of teams will generally go with
Attackers
that.
must
That's the
locate and defuse the
usual
bomb.
routine, is that you're just going to hold down stairs, you'll try and hold onto the walls for as long as possible, plan to Kayed, and you'll essentially just bunker down and hunker down onto the side. And I don't know why, whenever I say hunker, it reminds me of Buck. I don't know why, you know, Buck, hunker down, he's a hunk, I don't know, anyway.
He is a bit of a
A
hunk.
bomb has been located.
But he's not going to be in this game, and
He's
that's,
not, and I don't know how to feel about that.
well, you got to be looking to some of the other hunks in the lineups, I guess.
Like
Maverick's a bit of a
Located
looker.
by attackers.
Ah, Maverick, yeah. Speaking of Maverick, actually, as he's now going to be brought out by Exile, could be a powerful operator. They are choosing to bring out the Maverick instead of the Thermite, which was my analysis. So obviously, as you can tell, this is why I'm a tier 4 caster rather than, you know, pro league analyst.
I think you're being harsh on yourself there. Ooh, there you go. You got to get that left bit right, otherwise you're gonna not have good luck doing the rest of it. And as I say that, Pega finds that kill, and then Carl Roger immediately refrags back onto him. No C4 spent by the Valkyrie, especially on a site such as this with lots of destructible floorboards in these rooms where attackers tend to gather inside a cache, inside of monitors. It's a very valuable piece of utility that can net you a free kill almost every single time, but not going to be available to Timber, or to Enviik rather, anymore. The Sledge Gun, though, from Timber means very little soft destruction in the way of what for Timber left, especially with that buck off the board. It's an interesting ban, the buck, because it kind of shuts down a lot of potential strategies, and if you know that your team isn't going to work with the buck and you haven't built strategies around the buck, you can really throw a spanner in the works of the opposition by banning it out. It's a bit of an off-piste one, but I like it. Either way, we're going to be seeing Carl Roger getting rid of that deployable shield. That's going to expose the rotate that we saw Hoshi playing with back there. Oh no, sorry, that's Sandini on the castle playing with that rotate, but Hoshi's actually holed up right here inside of office and just tap firing this doorway, expecting the push to come through anytime soon. Meanwhile, Exile's team being lit up there. He still hasn't managed to soften up this wall. That's pretty poor, to be honest, from the Maverick.
I mean, I really do want to highlight this. Maverick screwed up big time there. Look at that wall. I'm sorry, as a Maverick player, yeah, he wasted a lot of gas trying to open it up the first time when, again, it's just, you need to practice this kind of stuff in take the time to actually practice using it correctly, because otherwise you're wasting all the time utility, and it's just not going to work out, as IQ's going to rush into the bomb site. Rushing definitely works out for them. Gonna have to swap up to a super shorty, it's not gonna work out. Zofir also killed off a return, triple kill for Mr. Easter, and he lands a last shot. What a headshot as well. It wasn't even a headshot, it was a body shot, but still, let's pretend like it was a headshot for Mr. Easter. Brilliant performance by the Bandit.
How did the defense win that? That was,
so
for like a few seconds, that really looked like Timber was storming that site, and you mentioned the gas use. It really took a moment of putting their foot on the gas to get in that site and clear it out effectively, but then Mr. Reese is just popping off at the end to say, no, you're not allowed in here. Pistol out, and he lit up the scoreboard right there, and Enviik now have themselves their first defensive round.
So, if we could just talk briefly about Maverick there and the way that it was played out. 6 pick from the Cali over the Montaigne. Interesting by Valber. Yeah, with the Maverick, he wasted a lot of gas trying to open up a small hole in the wall, you know, as you mentioned, in order to get the section on the left-hand side of the wall.
Defenders,
but
protect your bombs from being defused by attackers.
That's just a waste of time. I think it's fairly clear to say that Exile isn't confident when he's playing the Maverick. The way that he played that, it just screams to me, I don't think he's really practiced all that much.
Well, at least in that round, I gotta say, I think we've gotta give him a chance, see if he fixes things up. And right now, Pega and Sugi bringing the Kaid and the Kaid and Bandit combo, looking to full deny this site, and that means that the Maverick is gonna have his work cut out for him. So I suppose this is his opportunity to try and show us that he can really do it. But
Yeah.
You mentioned that 6th pick onto the Monty
Attackers
right
are
here
moving out to
for
locate a bomb
Valber.
and defuse it.
That really changes the style that we're going to see from Timber on this push.
Yeah, I mean, as you're saying there, Montaigne would generally imply that you're going to play a lot slower and a lot more focused
bomb has
around
been
that
located.
Montaigne. In terms of you're going to be pushing your entry bags behind the Montaigne, trying to use the information that they're gaining to try and pick up a kill or two. As I think that could be very powerful, especially being able to possibly bait C4s from any player hiding
Attackers have
behind
located
maintenance
a bomb.
wall.
I think another part of this Monty pick is actually to protect Exile while he is doing his work. As you can see right here, he is standing in this doorway. You've got to make sure that you don't get a long-range peek from the end of that corridor or potentially from inside of Gong. But obviously, the attackers right now, they're taking control of Gong as well. That whole east side now in their hands, but they haven't factored in this vertical presence here from Sapega, who's used the C4 to open up a nice line of sight, but he's whiffed a load of shots there. Potential opportunities missed by the Bandit. He might be ruining that one as he rotates now over to Dragon and tries to work with this slightly different angle. In fact, he's going to get nice and aggressive, and he finds Exile. Actually, a hard breach dealt with before he can even get the wall open, and that's Pega doing his duty, but the Nomad doing her duty as well and holding that flank perfectly, punishing the Bandit on the rotate there. So, 1 for 1, but definitely advantage defenders right here.
Yeah, I mean, taking down that Maverick is going to mean all the walls are going to stay kind of hard there, and that's a massive loss for Timber. It's going to force them through a lot more choke points here, specifically looking over towards Dragon Doorway and Split, as it's basically going to be their only entry into the bomb site, and that's going to be an absolute massacre when this execute starts to come in.
That is a soft hatch in Blue or Connector right now, though, and Hoshi's definitely wary of it, but he doesn't need to be, as right now the entirety of Timber's pressure is coming right from that Dragon Doorway, and there's no way you can funnel into this successfully in attack. The smokes come down and the guns light up the scoreboard. There we have it, all orange all the way, and Sugi with 2, Zanzini with 2. That was pretty easy for Enviik, because, I mean, that's a tantamount to suicide for Timber.
Yeah, I mean, look at that. 4 kills so far being brought out by the Oh My. 4 kills, 0 deaths for Mr. Easter. I really don't want to hard con about this, and I'm so sorry, but am I allowed to sound like a coach for like a couple of seconds?
Yeah, go
Jerry?
for it. Yes.
If I could give any recommendations to both these teams, specifically over towards Timber, it would be go into your custom games and practice with the utility, practice with the operators, and specifically the gadget that you're trying to play with the Maverick. Practice opening it up as quickly and as effectively as possible, because it really does save you time. Spending even an hour a week practicing with a gadget is invaluable. I know from personal experience with the blowtorch, you can usually open up all 3 walls, like whether it's on Concha, you can open up all 3 panels of the wall with the gas available, and the fact that he was struggling to open up a single wall. Again, there is pressure there, you know, it's a high stress environment, but at the same time, practicing with the, you know, the gadgets available to you, it will make you better in the long term. And I really want to see players like Exile improve, and I really want to see them perform, because we know that they're capable of that. 2-0 in favour of Enviik. It does say a lot about their performance, but also a fair bit about Timber Esports. Look at that last round. He did struggle substantially.
5 seconds left.
They really did. They're making it look a little bit easy for Enviik right now,
Attackers
but
must locate
maybe
and
some of that
defuse
will
the
change.
bomb.
They did take a little bit of time to wake up as well on Coastline when they were defending first, and once again they've interestingly they're again on the kind of less favourable side, shall we say, to start things off. Obviously, for this map being Timber's pick, Enviik chose to start on defense, and that's clearly their strong point here, but also choosing to start on defense on Coastline and then only putting together 2 of those rounds. Usually you want to start an attack, right? So I think Timber are giving themselves a little bit of a tougher time than they need to be right here. And speaking of, they're not really adjusting around Exile at the moment. I mean, clearly he's having not the best day with his gadget, but you could be bringing more tools to assist that. Right now, we've got the IQ to help kind of clear some gadgetry, maybe make it a little bit easier, but really, that's not the problem. The problem is making sure that soft wall is breached afterwards, and they've dropped the sledge, so they basically only leave Carl Roger to be able to deal with it, if that's the case. Or bringing another hard breacher to make use of the fact that he can clear out those batteries by himself. So right now, it's a bit strange that they're kind of forcing this multiplayer, and as I say that, it just gets lit up from the side there, so they go, come up the arcade stairs, and this crossfire, not what you really want to be walking into as a Monty, especially without the necessary intel, and Brainless is gonna decapitate Iska, not the way to start the round. Sapega tags on with one of his own as Valba falls. That's the Monty finally gone, and Timber just falling apart at the seams right here, with a minute and 28 seconds to go, and Enviik looking very comfortable.
Struggling to gain any real momentum in this match, and specifically in this map, Timber Esports not really living up to their name right now. They're not really living up to the name of, you know, Timber. You assume that it would be, you know, Woody. But what do you know? I don't know what I'm talking about. As Sugi is staying inside the bomb site right now, and essentially they just need to hold on to the doorways and entry points, and it's going to force the attackers into their line of fire. Frag grenade coming in, it's going to displace Hoshi, as the Valkyrie's going to be coming behind. Paul Roger picking up Sugi. That could be the entry they need into the objective.
It could be Carl Roger, though, finding one, but immediately being downed in return means it's now 2 versus 3, with Mr. Issa sneaking up these arcade stairs, and the pinch is on right here. He finds one. That's Brainless taken down. It's effectively a 1 versus 3, as Carl Roger is the last alive, and he can withstand, and he's actually going to be the last one to try and fight back on minimal HP right now, and he's just got to find a couple of kills on his way, but all this crossfire is so daunting for him. 15 seconds, he's just got to hunt for these heads. He can't find one. Mr. Easter doing the dirty work that round with 2 or 3, I think, but yeah, that was almost locked out by Enviik right from the start.
Yeah, definitely struggling with the attack on this map, and it's as I mentioned earlier on, you know, whichever player is able to gain a significant manpower advantage, i.e. getting the entry kills, will more than likely kind of determine and dictate the flow of play in this map. And unfortunately for Timber Esports, they are struggling to really enter the building in any meaningful fashion. As we touched on briefly, I think they might benefit from bringing a Thermite. I really believe that they might, you know, especially in conjunction with the Maverick, it might give them a bit more of an advantage. We can see that they're struggling to open up any lines of sight onto the objective, so if you bring the Thermite and you're able to deal with the bandit batteries and, you know, that could put you in a better position moving forward, especially when you have that Montaigne.
Yeah, right now we're seeing the single breach denial as well from Enviik in the bandit. They did have that Qaid earlier for the throne room hold, but that hasn't factored into any of their other holds, and I think that Enviik are playing very confidently right here. They've successfully defended all 3 sites right now, and they're going back to their first one, and they have the confidence to even like mix it up a little bit, bring the Wamai this time round. I don't think we did see that in the top floor hold, if I'm not mistaken. And yeah, it's I think we saw the Valkyrie.
Attackers are moving out to locate a bomb.
Either way, it was Valkyrie on Suntaker. I would be inclined to say we're probably going to be seeing another push in Cash. We're likely going to see the Maverick try and open up a wall again. Hoshi going for some very cheeky runouts, and it does work out as Isker's killed off entirely. IQ off the board. That's a pretty substantial kill for Hoshi, who so far has been very much a substantial player in these in these last 2 maps. A lot of eyes are going to be on Hoshi, especially over the last map where he got a lot of kills and was shown to be a pretty proficient gunner.
Yeah, most of those, bear in mind, were on attack, to be fair, so it might be another few rounds before we see him light up the scoreboard as he did last time. Right now, Mr. Easter seems to be the one that Enviik looked to on these defenses, rocking that bandit, and he's topping right now. But with Iska gone already, it means that, if anything, they might have been better off to bring those Valk cams than the Magnet, just in terms of utility surviving for as long as possible and providing that intel. Already taking out the counter to the
A
Valk
bomb
fans,
has
but
been located.
no need to worry about those for Timber. If they happen to know the lineup, Sugi's in a very advanced position right here, playing this shield at the top of Arcade, and he gets stun sent his way by Carl Roger, who's definitely a force to be reckoned with. That stun connecting now, and the peak not coming through, but the shield destroyed, and Sugi just managing to escape in time. He's back to inside of dorms right now, but Carl Roger, oh, just looking the wrong way there for a second, and now Sugi can get back in. Oh no, of course, there's a castle barricade protecting him, so it's going to be up to Carl Roger to actually sneak in through that rotate if he wants to go through it. A second castle barricade as well protecting Zandini, who is the castle, and that push is going to be a very tough one for Carl Roger, who's already spent a lot of his utility, but right now we can see Serpega trying to hold off the tide of Timber players, and they finally begin to swarm in. Looks the wrong way for a moment. Exile whiffing a few shots, but finally downing and finishing off that Wamai. Sugi finds Exile in response, though. 4 versus 3 in favor of the defense, but the multi's still alive. Smoke's coming out from Sugi here to try and deny the plant, but right now it's not coming down. This push onto the smoke isn't working out. Zandini swings in and takes down the Zofia, but Valba at least responds with that ADS from the pistol of the Monty. It's 2 versus 3 now, with Brainless the only full health attacker remaining on that Nomad. And it's fairly split, and that means that they've got the crossfire on Valba, and Brainless going down as well in a heap. Hoshi finishing that round out. A really nice dynamic defense there from Enviik, with a lot of interestingly placed castle barricades and rotates opened up to allow for that movement.
Yeah, so different change of pace being brought out by Timber Esports. We did see a different style of attack coming in, choosing to go and electing to go in through the control room. That's where we saw the focal point of their attack, whilst they had Zofia essentially solo roam clearance on top of Arcade. Fairly questionable that you're sending your main entry frag on the main player, really getting impactful kills here on their own without any real support. Hoshi at the bottom of the leaderboard for once now. He's going to be 3-1 as Mr. Easter 7-0. It's like a complete change of pace from the Hoshi that we saw in the last matchup. For only 3 kills.
Attackers need to locate and defuse as
That's
many bombs as they can.
That's a very satisfying spread on Enviik as well. When you look at Mr. Easter topping it with 7-0, obviously you can't take away from that performance, but everyone else on Enviik having a hand in the victory so far, and that's really good to see. Timber, on the other hand, just look like they're stuck in a rut, right? Quite honestly, they haven't garnered a round at all, and they're sticking firm with this particular operator lineup. We didn't see the Monty in the first round, but we've seen this exact lineup every single round since, and it just hasn't worked for them. We need to see at least a change of approach right now to try and see something different. We did see last time around on this throne attack, for instance, focus on construction, perhaps maybe a little bit of pressure into barrels, or even a yellow take, which can be very difficult with a Maverick who will be exposed doing all that, but that was probably why I'd prefer to see barrels pressure, if anything, just to mix it up a bit, give Enviik a little bit of something to think about, even, because at the moment they look like they're playing, you know, for fun, for defense.
I do empathize with Timber Esports. Again, as a player, it can be a very hard skill to learn, but being able to mentally reset yourself after bad rounds can be incredibly hard to do, and I feel like it's something that Timber Esports is struggling with at the minute. The energy just really isn't there with a lot of their attacks, but they are trying their best, which has to be commended here. Core Roger picking up the first kill of the round, though, taking down Hoshi, and that could be a little bit of momentum for Timber if they are able to consistently make this happen.
It really could be. Serpega swapped onto that bandit role instead of Mr. Easter right now, and he's doing this duty up on the top floor, in fact, trying to open up those holes above the attackers, as he tried to do last time round, but being met with a little bit more resistance, and he has to fall back into Cash. You can see he's already spent a C4 inside of Cash, in fact, to try and open up an angle above the attackers, but that clearly didn't work, as still 5 on the board for Timber. Once again, we see Exile trying to get this wall open and struggling to contend with the electrical, which is so good at countering it, but at least the attack of putting together these frags, Iska getting one for himself, and that's Sapega shut down on the top floor. Both German operators dealt with now. C4 sails out, but it's deleted by his own Electro Claw. Tough nuts for Sugi right there. It's going to be up to Mr. Easter to try and swipe around the site and pick up some frags before the pressure piles onto these anchors.
Yeah, I mean, if Timber Esports are able to keep up this pressure, this could be the first round that they're able to win on Theme Park. They've already got a lot of pressure going to be coming in through maintenance. And if they're able to open up that wall with enough time, they should be able to try and pressure in and take Throne, which is the common place to try and go for that execute on. It's doubtful that they'll try and open up through Barrel at this point. They simply don't have enough time remaining. IQ up on top of Dragon Stair should be able to hold on to that rotate, but Mr. Easter gets taken down by Carl instead. That's a double kill going out. We see the execute slowly starting to form. Brainless takes down Zandini. Sugi's able to pick up one, but he's not able to pick up another, and that's Timber Esports picking up round number 5 and their first round won in this matchup.
Absolutely, and a big part of that right there was that final execute. Managing to open up the wall successfully for one of the first times this round. Good job, or this match. I believe it might have happened previously as well, perhaps giving Exile a bit too hard a time of it here. But yeah, that was an absolutely stellar round there from Timber. Almost flawless until the final moments as well. I mean, the execute was a big part of that. Don't get me wrong. I'm going to double back on myself right now, though, and say that really it was the roam clear. They set themselves up in such good stead for that push. Shut down two or three roamers before managing to get onto the site against the two remaining defenders, and it was a little bit of a kind of solo show really from Enviik. They were going through all these, you know, individual picks, individual plays, playing very spread, very individually, and I mean, so far it's worked out for them. You know, the scoreline's 4-1, and they haven't really been doing anything different from round to round, really, but it seems as though Timber maybe just adjusted slightly in terms of their mindset. They were holding a lot of flanks in that round. That was one of the things that caught my eye. Carl Roger, especially, just playing really sort of relaxed, it would seem, just watching out the main flanks that have caught them out a couple of times in the past. And, you know, if you do that well, and Enviik are playing into you, which at the moment they are, they're playing very aggressive, so it's going to work out in favor of the, you know, the high damage attackers that are holding those angles most of the time.
Yeah, I mean, a much slower and more methodical take being brought out by Timber Esports, and for the first time in this matchup, we saw that it worked out in favor of them. Hoshi, he did jump out or run out of that doorway earlier on in this matchup, so he could potentially do it again. Instead, he's going to be holding up on top of Cash, again denying any real pressure. But look at that, what an entry kill, Sir Pager, more like Sir Goodbye at this point as he's off the board. Valkyrie gone, C4 wasted. This could be a pretty good start or something as Zandini takes them Carl.
That was a neat kill there from the Goyo, just peeking in, expecting the hold there in what might have been a punch hole or bullet hole from Carl Roger. But Goyo getting the better of him, and Sugi tagging on with one of his own there onto the Maverick before the breach has been opened. That's a huge pick right there from the Kaid, and now a 3 versus 4. One of those attackers being a shield as well.
Attackers dropped the
This is
diffuser.
not looking great for
Attackers have
Timber. We
recovered their
may well
diffuser.
see a 5-1 split, which on Theme Park is, I suppose, a little bit worse than average.
As you're saying, yeah, 5-1 wouldn't be the best for Timber, but to be fair, it could be 5-0. It could be 5-0. The fact that they've scored 1 round, they've shown that they are still awake and alive in this game, as Zandini barely misses the shots to his head. But really should have gone for the head there, as that's the Mon taking a little bit of damage from the Vulcan shield, as Hoshi's able to rotate down through red. Valbar needs to be careful because he's being a little bit careless as that Montaigne.
It's weird, he's kind of baiting shots, if anything, by peeking into these angles and then deploying the shield afterwards, but Mr. Easter's going to find Iska, his opposite number, if you will, and leaving the attackers in a 2 versus 4. That Goyo should really stop them in their paces right there. You could see the call was just to rush connector, but as soon as Zandini detonated that shield, it was no chance for the attackers to try and pull that one off. And the shield does finally claim the life of the Monty. All up to final attacker. This is Brainless looking to try and take down some of these Brainless defenders as they're all swarming into the doorway. This is not what you really want to be doing as a defense. Although, to be fair, taking those multiple engagements, making sure that you don't give him 1v1s is also a good strategy. But you never know that planets could align for the Nomads. He's going to be rotating now to Connector. Looks like Zandini's reading into this while the defense are holding the other angles and looking around. He's got barbed wire to deal with. The crossfire is completely impenetrable here. 2 seconds left. Time is going to go down. Nobody picks up the final kill there. Just a mess of spraying bullets. And Enviik find themselves in a very favourable position. 5-1 up at half-time.
Yeah, 5-1. It's a good position to be in for any team, and especially when you're now going to be swapping over to the attack. We saw that Enviik were a lot more comfortable on attacking Coastline. Could we be seeing a repeat of the last map? Potentially, as Mr. Easter going to be bringing out that Ash. And wow, look at that Ash as well with that elite skin. It's very nice. But also a Suki with the elite skin. I like that one. I like the Thermite one. Which is your favourite elite skin, out of curiosity?
Oh man, well I'm going to be biased right here and say it's Valkyrie because it's the only one I own. I'm not. Okay. I am one that I don't buy a load of cosmetics, to be honest. I'm disappointed we're not seeing the fuse right there as a switch of Jackal comes through. But yeah, Valkyrie is the only one I own besides the one that the Ash one that everyone got given at one point. I can't remember what that was, but yeah. I think if I was to be objective though, Ella's. Honestly, that elite is brilliant.
I really like the animation of it. I think Thatcher's probably my favourite one, and then for a legendary, it'd probably be Bucks. You know the battle pass Buck.
Attackers have discovered the location of a bomb.
It's like, you know, brown jacket, catapult pants. You know, it looks.
Oh yeah,
it's amazing. It's really nice. I like that one.
It is a good one.
And speaking of good ones, we've now got Zandini on the Maverick. I'm looking forward to that one, and also Sir Pager on Jackal. I really want to see Jackal being brought out to maximum effectiveness because Sir Pager so far 3 kills, 6 deaths.
5 seconds left before
definitely been taking a bit more of a, you know, kind of a back foot here in this matchup. Goyo also being utilized by Brainless, and overall we've got a lot of utility being based upstairs, specifically with the Goyo shields and also with some Jaeger ADSs. Interesting change of pace. Look at how many defenders are upstairs. You want to do some mathematics with me and count them with me? Okay.
Well, I think we've got 1 on site, so that must mean we've got 4 upstairs right here, because don't see anyone else on that bottom floor, and 1 plus 4, as we all know, equals 5.
6.
So, that's, I mean, you tried.
No. I'm not an analyst. Oh, never mind.
Either way.
Anyway.
That aside, we do see a very, very different style of defense and a different style of attack. No reliance on the Maverick from the attackers. We've got the Thermite being brought as well, and on the defensive side of things, no Grecianal besides the Mute, which is more likely used upstairs to kind of stunt that drone game that's going to be brought out from Enviik to clear out these top 4 players. It's very unusual to see a vertical hold on Throne, but while I say that, we see Sir Pager taking down Iska, so one of those top 4 players dealt with already, and surely the strategy here from the defenders is to fall back, but they're not going to be able to fall back if they're being picked apart right here. At least Brainless takes down Sir Pager in response to that frag there. Carl Roger now left alone upstairs with Brainless and... Oh, sorry, Brainless is also up here, right, playing close, and he does find the head of Hoshi. Good pick there from the Goyo, and Mr. Issa just evading the aim there of the Goyo. He's on a bit of a tear right here, but he's being hard pinged right now. Mr. Issa just holding this doorway, expecting the drop potentially to come through from the Goyo. That would be the sensible option, and he does in fact drop there. So good timing from Timber to make sure that they fall back, and that's really job done by them. They've kept the man count even going into the final minute of the map, or the final minute of the round rather. And they've taken out off the board the Jackal and the IQ. It could be better, but 3 versus 3 with 50 seconds left, pretty nice.
So you do have the main fragger for the defenders still on site. It's going to be Carl Roger. And I'm going to be looking over specifically whether he's able to hold on to split successfully, as that's potentially where the push will be coming from. 45 seconds remaining. They need to try and decide how they want to attack here. Looks like Thermite's going to try and open up the barrel wall, which could allow and facilitate a plant going in through the wall. C4 goes out and it's not going to land on Tsugi, but it will take down the first six of Thermite charge. Not an ideal situation, but it's still better than remaining.
Yeah, the problem right now is that two attackers are stuck on the other side with absolutely no entry, so it's all down to Mr. Easter. No, sorry, Tsugi, who gets taken down, brainless, finding Mr. Easter as well. And now he just has to rush in and go for frags. He can't even find the Goyo. Carl Roger sweeping up that round. And a real misstep right at the end there from Enviik as they just left themselves with too little time and too few options. Timber take that round.
Judging by that performance there, the crossfire established by the defenders inside of Split, and that last second push by the Maverick. A brilliant performance overall, and they were able to pull it back. As we mentioned, it's really important. You really got to win those, Jerry. You really got to win those.
Yeah, that's a tasty little quote there. A good man once said that.
I don't know about a good man, but a man said that.
a person.
A person said that. A person said that.
And it definitely didn't blow up in their face.
No, not at all. 6-bit going over to the Goyo Valkyrie. I gotta be honest, I like both Goyo and Valkyrie. I would rather see the Valkyrie, honestly, at this stage. Is looking at that so far, Valkyrie even, sorry, only with 1 kill, 5 deaths. I feel like he might be a little bit more influential with those black eye cameras if they can remain active. Because so far it doesn't look like, I have to be honest here, I haven't seen Hoshi use his gadget once. As IQ.
That's
I haven't seen Hoshi use, and in 2 maps, I haven't seen him use his gadget once.
10 seconds remaining.
Which would imply that he's playing IQ specifically for 3 speed in the G8A1. Which might also, the speed might indicate why he doesn't play Amaru. As we all know, she does have the G8A1 as well, but she's a 2 speed, which means she's slightly slower, a little bit bulkier, and a little bit, you know, she's got more protection. But overall, the speed might be the key for Hoshi.
I mean, it is a valid way to play IQ in some senses, but really at this level where you're looking to coordinate as much as possible with your teammates, you want to be bringing something in the utility department. And yeah, if you're not using your scanner, if you're not hopping up from time to time, at least point out maybe where some of those mute jammers might be, or magnets. I mean, they're not coming across too much electronic gadgetry that needs clearing out with the scanner itself, say. Some of those mute jammers, I guess.
There it goes, finally, in 2 minutes.
Amazing. And also, spotting out that mute jammer, very key. So that will allow the attackers to drone in through bathroom, and that's going to give them a nice, solid point of entry. And obviously, Santini's going to want to open up that hard wall, separating Cash from the site, but Serpega getting aggressive here. Catches Easter off guard as the Jaeger just takes a few too many steps to the side, dancing out of position once, but Carl Roger with a nice little angle there, playing elevated with the bullet hole, or the punch hole rather, on that landing. So unexpected there, and Serpega gets punished for it, but I mean, you can't blame him for that. It was a nice little kick there.
Nice angle being established by Carl Roger. Almost as if it's something from a Cobra Bra video. Mr. Easter picks the kill into Brainless. View off the board, C4 gone. That's quite an impactful kill as Valbo's going to have to try and defend the big boy. Over towards bathroom. Spots out the IQ, but she drops down to the deck, and it doesn't work out too well to get sidearm out, takes down the Maverick. Influential kill. But is Hoshi going to be able to refrag this one? Does Amara? Sugi's already got it in control.
Attackers recovered the diffuser.
Yeah, Hoshi being res there. Massive influence there from the Maverick, who did die afterwards, but now we've got a 2 versus 3 on our hands. 50 seconds left, and Exile has already spent 2 of those toxic gas canisters as well. Limited points of entry to the site for the attackers. We're not pushing from the west, so right now, Carl Roger holding this long angle from the soda machine could cut off the entire push from Enviik, and that could be damaging for them. As long as the smoke survives for long enough, right now, that final gas canisters are coming out and denying the push for a little bit longer. need to get intel on Carl Rogers' position, otherwise they're going to walk straight into him. Right now, Exile just has to stay alive. 17 seconds left, and the flash comes out. He gets
15
back
seconds
into a
remaining.
safe position, just worming his way in and out. Lands a couple of shots, a headshot onto Mr.
10
Easter,
seconds remaining.
and he almost downs the play, but Hoshi finds Carl Roger. That's the flag hold being taken down, and Sugi gets Exile. Amazing stuff there from Enviik, pushing in, and they seal themselves at least another point for the Playday.
Once again, clutch situations coming out on top with Enviik. What a shot and what a finale of that round. Building all the way up to match point with our potentially last round here. This is where Timber want to pull it back. All stops held off. I don't know what that means. Anyway, Carl Roger, 10 kills, 6 deaths. Doing pretty well for himself, and unfortunately it looks like the rest of his team are struggling just a little bit to really make a meaningful impact in this game. Valbor, 2 kills, 3 assists. Assists are important, but so are kills.
He was so close to making a massive impact in that round as well, with that flank of the Goyo. Down the IQ of Hoshi, came around the corner, finished off Zandini, I believe it was, on the Maverick, but in that time, Hoshi's been rezzed. Just so quick from the IQ to get that res through, and then the immediate refrag. It could have been a very solid hold there from Timber, and perfectly timed aggression as well from Goyo, but just a little off the mark, unfortunately, this time. We're going to be seeing yet another attempt at the bunk hold here, and Timber's style of extending into initiation and office is definitely something that has become a kind of favorite style, I guess. I've said style a lot. A favorite style, I guess. There's no other word.
You know,
It is a style.
we all like, it's okay, you like Harry Styles, it's fine, it's acceptable, like, so do I, don't worry.
I mean, my hairline is certainly nowhere near as,
Luscious.
I don't know how to just... I was going to say not receding, but... Oh, wow.
Oh, Exile, what are you doing? Oh, wow. Timber really looking like my Tinder profile right now, it's lit. I'm kidding, they're on match point 2, or they're losing. Just like my Tinder chances non-existent.
Yeah, speaking of matches, we've got one almost on its way out here as Enviik just ready to try and seal this deal on the attack. They've been pretty convincing throughout the entire Playday, and Timber just haven't shown up really, but so far they've looked most convincing on that previous defense, and that was why it was so worrying to see them eventually fall down, to be honest. Their throw on hold was really nice, and this hold here that we saw on bunks was also quite good, but just clearly not good enough, as we see Enviik going for that same approach, clearing him through Cash, through the east side. So Pega just clearing that barbed wire, and no Goyo shield obviously dispatched with early on by Exile mistakenly means that they've got potentially a slightly easy job on their hands clearing these extended hold players, and that soft wall, or that hard wall rather, being dealt with now by Zandini. As the pressure comes in from Hoshi, just spraying bullets. He's making full use of that drum mag on the GAA1, expecting the prone, but he takes a lot of flak right there from his enemy, as Iska still playing behind that bar, and now Valba with the support takes down Hoshi. Iska brings into action and finally gets Sapega on his death list. Still the pushing coming through from this same position, and Mr. Easter at least finding one, but immediately being shut down by Valba, who picks up his second on the round, and now it's a 2 versus 4. Sugi and Zandini left alive for Enviik on this attack.
Located by attack.
Strong attack being brought out so far by strong defense even by Timber, as Valber on a triple kill. It's all going to be up to Zandini to try and make something happen. Fairly low health. If he steps on even a little bit of wiggle, he will go down. He needs to try and find this kill onto the Jaeger, but so far it's just not working out too well for him. He's going to push out and around. This would be a good time for him to kind of take a break and just talk to his team and try and figure out how they want to play the next matchup. Valver holding on to some bullet holes, and look how nasty that is. Timber Esports pull it back as Isker finally gets that kill that he's been craving for that entire round.
Yep, patience key there for the Jaeger, and Timber once again look like they're trying to pull this one back. It's the same story last match Enviik looking so convincing in their first half, even though on Coastline it was the attacking half for them. This time around, they racked up 5 defensive wins in a not in a row, but 5 defensive wins in their first half, and now Timber looking to do ideally the same thing back, but they've already forgone match points. So it's like I said earlier, they're giving themselves the harder sides in a lot of these matches, and it's just disheartening. Obviously, they didn't choose this one, but you know, you've got to be playing and thinking about the mentality. So often you'll definitely pick the side that you're stronger on first, just to make sure that you're not fighting against that, you know, that disadvantageous round count. And even though you might have, you know, attacker favored maps, defender favored maps, you've got to consider the mentality of your players when you make this sort of decision. So I don't know about you, but I would always want to defend first or attack first rather on Coastline, defend first on Theme, you know.
I mean, definitely looking at how Timber Esports are playing, I like how creative a lot of these strategies, these angles and positions are. The fact that Timber Esports are able to hold on, specifically looking over towards how Isker played in that position instead of Office in the last round, the fact that he was able to essentially deny the push coming in from 3 players proves to me Enviik didn't have a clue about what they wanted to do there. And it was a brilliant performance overall by Timber. Who would ever expect a player to be hiding there and holding that position for as long as Isker did? He was fully prepared to die in that position, just to waste time and utility and be a royal pain in the proverbial backside of Enviik. And that's something that really has to be admired. The fact that Timber, even though they've been on match point for, what, like 3 rounds, 4 rounds? Wow. Again, it's not a surprise that they are fighting back tooth and nail to try and make this one happen.
They really are. And like you said, Iska did a great job that round. I don't want to forget Valba, though. Obviously, picking up that triple kill with Iska playing in that position just allowed him to hold that, that sort of line in the sand, essentially, across from... what am I talking about? From initiation all the way to office and deny anyone any clean entry. And speaking of initiation office, that is where we are right now, as we're already a minute into this round. And Hardpink's coming out onto this defender who's completely pinched between Hoshi and Sapega, and it's actually going to be Zanzini finishing off Exile as Sapega's been down and spray coming through the wall from Iska. Not going to claim the knife off the Sophia, but there we go. The knife comes out perfectly timed. Takes it down after the self-res. And Carl Roger onto Mr. Easter as well. So your entry completely gone. And now everyone's looking to Hoshi, but he gets jumped down by Iska. Fantastic round from the Jaeger. And then he gets refragged by Sugi. So back and forth stuff right here. And half the round gone and half the players gone. Sugi and Sandini now in a 2 versus 3.
Still definitely doable for Timber Esports. They just need to hold their ground and essentially not give an inch. That's what I'm talking about. What happened to not giving an inch?
Literally an inch. Not even that.
Trust me, I know all about like 1 or 2 inches. Is yeah, brilliant performance. Being brought out by the attackers as they're slowly starting to turn it back. It's all up to Sugi, just under half health remaining. 1 minute left on the clock. That's not a person. I mean, it is a person, but it's not the actual person. It's just like a drawing of a person. He's gonna push on into the bomb site, spawn out the Valkyrie. But look at that Claymore touched him. Carl, what are you doing? How? Wow. Hager back from the depths of hell himself to try and make this round happen. It's all going to be up to Brainless to try and hold on. Can he do this? Jerry, please talk us through this.
Well, 1 versus 1, thanks to that Claymore. I mean, Carl Roger getting a little bit too antsy right there. And Sugi has time to try and drone out at least one site, but he's going to have to go off the fact that he knows now where the Goyo is. He spots the head just pop round. Now it's a cat and mouse game around this pillar as Sugi's going to try and stick the plant. But Brainless, as he gets closer, will hear this, and now it's an easy peek for him. He sees the legs. He doesn't notice it, but the C4 comes out and is perfectly placed. No, it is Sugi somehow escapes that. How does he survive? He spots the foot, and he doesn't win the fight. Brainless with the headshot. What a ridiculous back in the 4th round right there. Timber getting the defuse denial down. Brainless in the 1 versus 1. My heart. My heart.
What a round by Brainless!
Defenders win.
Wow. Someone get this guy, like, I don't know, like a pat on the back or, I don't know. Again, it's just these clutch situations that Timber Esports thrive in. For all intents and purposes, that round should have been won and over, but it's not. They are pulling it back from the brink time and time again, and we need to commend this. 12 kills going out by Carl Roger, but again, overall the entire performance by Timber Esports cannot be understated. 10 kills going out for both Mr. Easter and Tsugi, and so far Hoshi, it feels like he's just going AFK just so he can browse Reddit in his free time, because he has made little impact in this game. It's almost as if we're seeing like a completely different Hoshi to the last map, where unfortunately, you know, it's just not really working out for him. Potentially, he's just not a theme park player. As again, I am so impressed by Timber. Even if they lose, okay.
Attackers need to
Even if
locate
they
and
lose
defuse
this
as
next
many
round,
bombs as they can.
they should walk away knowing that they did their very best. They put up such an incredible fight through these two matchups. They should be incredibly proud of themselves, and they should hold themselves high, knowing that they were able to score as many rounds and as many games as they did.
Yeah, I think you're right there. And honestly, Timber as well, right now they've had moments, each of them. Every single player on this squad so far today has had some standout moment. Even looking at Exile right now, he's not particularly showing up on the scoreboard for this match. He had that round in the last game on Coastline where he just swept into sight as the IQ and cleared things out with a big triple. So everyone's had their moments right here on Timber for the most part. Brainless, the most recent one with that clutch on the top floor. And Carl Roger, who's as reliable as you could possibly want across both maps, top fragging right now with 12, and doesn't look like he's showing any signs of stopping either, as he's playing, expecting the brunt of this push right here from Enviik. We can see Sugi droning in Hoshi right now, and these two big gunners on both sides are going to come to blows very shortly. Mr. Easter also coming in as reinforcements, and Brainless as well, supporting the defense. So we're going to have a big showdown right here inside and across the bathroom here. A couple of bullets being sprayed as warning shots, but the Jackal pings coming out on Carl Roger right here. Hard breach, or not hard breach, sorry, soft breach of Mr. Easter dealing with that wall. Not a full reinforcement, interestingly, between those two rooms, and that gives the defenders less room to work with. As Hoshi's now holding this angle onto the vault, and he finds one, and Serpega taking down Esker as well. Hoshi finds another as Brainless gets the refrag elsewhere onto Mr. Easter, but definitely advantage attackers in that sweep through the top. And now 2 versus 4 with a minute and a half to go. This is excellent on the attacker's side. Enviik look like they might be able to close this one out on this throne room push.
Yeah, having a little bit of difficulty with the hard breach, as top control is entirely in favor of Enviik. They have enough time to try and make this collapse happen. Going in for the kill onto the Maverick. What an influential shot by Valbor. This could substantially increase their odds of survival, as it's going to force a lot of these players to now go in through split. If Sugi isn't able to open up any of the walls, then this is going to complicate it a lot more. It's going to force them to go through split or through Dragon Doorway.
Exile showing incredible knowledge of his own team's setup right there, knowing exactly where that Goyo shield was placed to be able to detonate it and hold off the drop for a moment there. Buying them time, and that impact trick not working out for Val, but that's a big miss. Now Sugi has that entrance, but again, Exile now getting aggressive onto Dragon. And he finds that Hoshi downs one and finishes him off, and now it's a 1 versus 1 with Serpega left, trying to find this last defender. This is for the win on the map. Valber needs to hold, but he's inside lockers right now with Diffuser just outside. Serpega's droning out sight. There's only 20 seconds left. Valber can get aggressive, and he does it. Serpega goes down. Timber keep themselves alive in the matchup. This is an incredible rally right here from the defensive side of Timber, and they've put themselves within 1 round distance of drawing level.
Incredible performance by Timber, and again, this is just what I'm talking about. It's every single round they are just pulling it back somehow. They are pulling it out of their
backside.
Their gluteus maximus at this stage. And it's just so admirable. And again, this is the game that we love to see. This is a kind of action that we come to watch time and time again. Is these clutch situations that are being brought by both teams. And again, I want to see them do this. I want one more round for them to pull this back because we know that they're capable of this. Think about the momentum and the energy and the passion that is going to be coursing through their veins, along with
Attackers need to
copious amounts
locate
of
and
G
defuse
Fuel
as many
and
bombs
Red
as they
Bull at
can.
this stage. Because, heck, look at that. 5-6. If you asked me, Jerry, whether I thought this was possible, I still would have said yes because I totally believed in Timber Esports. But wow, they are actually making this happen.
Yeah, Timber really pulling it back right now. And like I said, theme park the defense side in maps, so not uncommon to see the 5-1 go in favor of the defense. But for the second half, it's just so much more exciting to see the comeback. And right now, Brainless switching onto the Clash. Very interesting mix-up right here for Timber going into this round, considering how well Brainless in particular has been playing in this match, and on defense especially. I'm very surprised to see this, to be honest. And they are being forced onto probably their least favorite site. It's the only one that they've lost so far in Bunks and Daycare. They have won it once as well, so perhaps the mix-up is not entirely uncalled for.
So I'm excited to see what Brainless is able to achieve here, specifically because the only real counter to him will be the Ash and the Maverick. And if he's able to just waste time in utility and be a nuisance to them, this could really work out in their favor.
Drone activated.
Loading mag!
So far, push going to be coming in through Cash. I don't know whether this is going to work out in favor of Enviik because so far, Timber should be pretty familiar with this kind of execute, this kind of collapse coming in to the building already.
Yeah, we see Oshi taking Cash control now, but 10 gone, and this is quite a slow push coming from Enviik. They're being very cautious. They need to seal this one out. Eska still playing behind this bar, this position that he so adores right here. Zandini's going to be tasked with trying to open up the angle to deal with him. Unlikely that they'll get the soft breach through, or the breach through onto the soft wall after he's dealt with this, because Eska's going to be in place to try and do that. But Sapega actually sneaking up yellow stairs right now. He might catch Valba unawares. He's playing at the top right here, but Valba flicks to his position and knows he's coming, and this is advantage defender. C4 goes out, but Sapega backing down the stairs means that detonates a little bit delayed. He knows it wasn't going to work, so that flank attempt there from the attacker of Sapega not quite working out, and once again we're back down to this sort of stall position where now it's a minute left, and Sapega's the only one trying to do anything kind of inventive right here. Everyone else is bashing their heads against this brick wall that is the Clash. Carl Roger finding Mr. Easter as well. And now it's 5 versus 4. Enviik look to be throwing away their lead round by round, and it could be a draw after all.
Yeah, I mean, if Timber are able to just try and hold on to this, it could work out. But Valbor and Carl Roger both get taken down. Isku's able to refrag just a little bit, but again, 3v3 situation with little time remaining to go for this execute. They need to try and capitalize on this. Brainless still alive, but Isku's down. Are they going to be able to make this work? Who knows?
Isku's finally dealt with, and now it's just the two defenders. One of those a Clash, and the last one goes down. It's all up to Brainless, but he's the perfect stall operator. But Sugi finds him, and that's it. Enviik finally take it. Timber fall, and an excruciating second half comes to a close with Enviik coming out on top in the series. 2-0 overall, 6 points for them. They get their first win of the season. 6 valuable points for them.
Look at how hard that round was, and that entire game was for Timber Esports, but they did not give up, not once. You could see that the morale was down. You could tell that they were feeling the rounds pressuring onto them, but the fact that they kept going and trying different things, you have to admire that. Even in the last round, they're still trying new strategies, new tactics, new operators, bringing out that Clash It didn't work out, but in the end, they tried their best. And what more could we possibly ask of them? Jerry, what a game.
It absolutely was. Some of those rounds right at the end of Theme Park as well were just heart pumping and really exciting to see such a close contest, especially on Theme Park. 7-4, 7-5 is almost as close as it could possibly be with Enviik picking up both points. I mean, or both maps, rather. And I don't know about you, but for a single match today, single best of two, I couldn't have wished for anything better from these two teams.
Yeah, I mean, you could really see that both teams were going neck and neck in that. And at the end of the day, that's what we want as casters, as a duo. Please don't tell Dino anybody. As a duo, me and Jerry. Um, what more could we ever ask for other than some exciting, interesting back-to-back games of pure action, aggression, content, chaos, and misery for some players? It was a brilliant performance by both teams. I thoroughly enjoyed watching them go head to head. It's a massive shame for Timber Esports, but they should not feel bad about that. It was a brilliant performance. They gave it their all. Unfortunately, it didn't quite work out for them. Well played to Enviik. I'm very excited to see some of these players in the future. And I can't wait to see what both these teams have in store. I mean, no one should feel bad about that. More than anything, they should be proud of how they played and the impacts that they had throughout the games.
Yeah, they really should be. And I think with that, we're probably just about ready to wrap up here. I want to say a massive thank you to yourself, Fraser. It's been an absolute pleasure as always to cast with you. And yeah, I'm really enjoying doing these games with you. I think it's a very nice kind of duo thing we got going on. Hopefully, everyone that's watching is enjoying it as well. Big props to the players for delivering such thrilling match today. And also, big shout out to Trix and Cosmic, who are backstage doing all the magic fancy work today that makes the stream look as lovely as it always does. So, with that, it's going to be goodbye from me and